When I first started this channel, I had a vision of analyzing the lore of the Legend of Zelda series to make theories on Zelda's history and characters. I was trying to find my place in a seemingly somewhat crowded community of Zelda content creators. Though as I progressed through my own real life, I also wanted to look at something a little bit bigger than the lore of Zelda. And it's about helping other people through motivation and support in life, especially in a world where people might not get that. I know I didn't for a long time, and it's really tough. So as one who grew up liking video games, Nintendo, Zelda, all that stuff way more than my own responsibilities and growth, I struggled. Perhaps a second channel aside from Zelda theories where I can go deeper into this may come into fruition. But for today, Zelda is the main topic here, but the discussion itself is a little unorthodox from my previous videos. In fiction, there are story expositions, references, motifs, and more that can relate to the hardships of real life. And within the Legend of Zelda series, there is one moment in its fictional narrative where I was emotionally impacted so strongly it made me think about my real life. And I was encouraged to practice what I saw and felt, emotionally motivated to make a slight adjustment in my life when it comes to certain situations. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds is in my top 5 favorite Zelda games of all time, probably my favorite top-down Zelda game. It throws you straight into that classic top-down world of Zelda puzzle solving and exploration, while also providing a fresh flavor of adventure after the series became well known for its grander and more popular 3D mainline games. It featured the traditional linear Zelda gameplay format with a taste of freedom of completing multiple dungeons in any order, with also a fun twist on item progression. A mix of modern and classic Zelda, if you will. For those younger and newer Zelda fans, if you liked Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom on the Switch, Zelda: A Link Between Worlds is definitely worth playing. Though unfortunately you'll need to find a physical copy of the game and a 3DS or 2DS to play the game. Well, to play it ethically. Anyway, I'll be going into the story climax of this 12-plus-year-old game, so the great moral lesson of this video includes spoilers. So let me break down the climax of the story and where this emotional impact comes from. So, in The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, we know the game features 2 worlds, Hyrule and its parallel dimension counterpart, Lorule. The entire plot of the game stems from a master plan to steal the Triforce from the land of Hyrule. But Ganon's seal remains strong at the beginning of the game, so who wants it? The Princess of Lorule and her servant Yuga. They wanted to steal Hyrule's Triforce and use it to heal their land, not caring about what it would do to Hyrule. Why would they want this? Well, once upon a time, Lorule was a beautiful, green, and prosperous kingdom. But similar to Hyrule, there were many evildoers and power cravers that lusted for the power of their Triforce. The ancestors of Lorule's royal family elected to destroy it. The Triforce serves as a sacred relic that is the heart of the land. If it were to be removed or destroyed, the land becomes sick and begins to rot and die. Only with the Triforce could the land be healed and prosper once again. So one day, Princess Hilda of the Lorulean Kingdom discovered a crack in a sacred stone pedestal that revealed the world of Hyrule and the presence of its Triforce. Thus, she ordered that the Triforce of Hyrule be stolen to save Lorule. She pretty much becomes a war criminal. That is the plot of the game. It stems from envy, jealousy, and hatred. Link rises to become a hero, and through his good deeds and some help from his friends and the sages, he triumphs over evil and makes it known that any foe who seeks the destruction of Hyrule will be met with the sword that seals the darkness. But there's more to the story. A Lorulean man looks to the evil of his kingdom and proposes a different solution. This proposal guides individuals to one of the greatest acts of forgiveness ever. Lorule was desperate for a long time. The earth's layers below the kingdom began to crumble, creating chasms, deep fissures paired with a dark abyss. The green of the land was stripped away. People became rude, lonely, and crazy. Thieves ran towns, sacrilegious cults formed. The state of society regressed to a dirty speck of what the beautiful, prosperous kingdom used to be. It's clear that the population of Lorule is much smaller than Hyrule's, implying that the living have been reduced due to the decline of the land. Lorule in this state is a representation of what it's like if a Zelda villain were to win, or at least a representation of if an era of decline, like that taking place before Link to the Past or before Zelda 1, were to continue for centuries or more. Hilda was driven to a high level of desperate survival for herself and her people and her land, promoting a turn to malicious intent. Yuga, a crazy powerful sorcerer, hell-bent on destruction, is of course down to aid His Majesty Hilda in such an expedition. But as I said, there was one man, represented by cowardice, yet shared a pure heart, just like his Hyrulean counterpart, who knew that the destruction is only further enhanced by schemes to obtain the Triforce. This man, named Ravio, was too fearful to persuade Hilda out of malicious intent, yet found a way to aid the hero Link in stopping her and Yuga from the destruction of Hyrule, as well as Lorule, though he found himself to be the only one who could attempt to persuade Hilda. So later on, after the fall of Yuga and Link rescuing Zelda, Hilda, in physical pain, still envied and hated the hero of Hyrule, Princess Zelda, and their Triforce. It was only then when the coward Ravio appeared and proposed to let this scheme go and not cause harm to another kingdom. He implored and begged Hilda to let the hero, princess, and the Triforce alone, once and for all. She felt the conviction and realized that she was indeed guilty of lusting for the Triforce, driven mad, just like the evildoers of Lorule's past. Her mind changed and her heart turned. So she then opened a portal to Hyrule, and from that, Link and Zelda would be able to return to their world. This time, with the intention of providing a one-way trip, so that no one may travel between Hyrule and Lorule ever again. The emotional conviction of Hilda ended the lust and madness, and led her to accept the fate of her kingdom, that it would eventually crumble and die without a Triforce. So as the portal to Hyrule closes, with Link and Zelda return safely, a permanent darkness emits across the land of Lorule. But of course, good deeds can be repaid, and those with pure intentions can be honored. And of course, people can be forgiven. Once Link and Zelda return to their world, they appear in their sacred realm, with the Triforce of Hyrule visible to them pieced together. When pieces are in such fashion, the gods of the Triforce may allow one wish to the mortal who lays their hand on it. Zelda realizes this, and asks Link if they have the same wish in mind after everything they have seen and felt. And so, from all of this, Zelda chooses to give grace, meaning a gift given to someone who does not deserve it, but instead receives it through the kindness and love of the one who gave it. And thus the wish is made, and the land of Lorule begins to shake. Hilda and Ravio then see a restored Triforce, and this time it is their own. Ravio becomes joyful in awe, and Hilda cries tears of happiness in understanding the kindness and generosity she did not deserve. Princess Hilda and the land of Lorule were forgiven for their trespasses and were given grace for their personal conviction and the decision to turn away from lust for power. Link and Zelda, representing heroism, purity, courage, and wisdom, have saved the land of Lorule not because they deserve it, but because it is what is right to them. There are instances of grace and high levels of forgiveness throughout our own real-world history here on Earth, and perhaps it is beyond the scope of this video, though I encourage you all to look into such things and reflect on them. After all, we want the world to be a better place, right? Perhaps one day I can discuss this topic through a real-world lens in a much greater video or discussion, but for now, understand that the Legend of Zelda series is a beautifully written narrative with such emotional depth, and that we can learn important life lessons through a video game that houses a fictional world. Alright guys, I mainly do theory videos on the Legend of Zelda lore on this channel, as well as weekly gameplay streams. So do please check out the main channel and support the channel by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you, God bless, take care, and I'm out.